Hello, we are broadcasting from in the basement at an undisclosed location. This is KM Hemmans, flowersandfruit.org. This channel is a series of information disseminated to you to make you feel, to make you think, to make you human.
Throughout history, as humans spread across the globe, infectious disease has been our constant companion. Even in this modern era, outbreaks are near constant. With every success in its microscopic war of attrition, humanity as a whole becomes a little more resilient. The human story is a story of repetition. Past is present. The present is in the past. Like a man in a cave with a kerosene lamp, we inch forward in the dark, afraid of ambush and the danger of the unknown. But why are we afraid? Well, it's because we die, taking with us the experience of the past, both the losses and the victories. Let us look back to some of those losses. The most terrifying word for centuries, plague, is caused by the bacteria Yersinia pestis, hence the word pestilence. The two types of plagues are the pneumonic and bubonic plagues. The bubonic plague is characterized by enlarged and inflamed lymph glands called buboes. Untreated, it can cause 58% mortality. Pneumonic plague is a pneumonia characterized by thin, watery sputum with bright red streaks of blood. It has 100% mortality rate untreated. The human story is a story of repetition. Past is present. The present is in the past. Like a man in a cave with a kerosene lamp, we inch forward in the dark, afraid of ambush and the danger of the unknown. Smallpox is considered one of the deadliest diseases known to man, and followed man as he spread across the known world, decimating New World populations. It is characterized by a few days of fever, followed by a flat red rash that begins on the upper arms and face, before spreading to other parts of the body. Lesions, back, and stomach pains are the main side effects beyond fever. Smallpox minor has a 1% mortality rate, while smallpox major upwards of 30% mortality. The human story is a story of repetition. Past is present. The present is in the past. But why are we afraid? Well, it's because we die. Influenza and SARS-CoV-2 are infectious viral diseases that attack the nose, sinuses, and lungs. The influenza virus is extremely small and only visible through electron microscope. Inside of its cells are the genetic material needed to reproduce. This inner layer is covered in a hard protein shell. On that shell is an envelope covered in spikes used to attach the human cells. The H spikes on that envelope are used like a key to open access to our cells. N spikes allow copies of the virus to break off and infect other cells. There are 17 known types of H spikes and 9 types of N spikes that scientists use to name particular types of flu, such as H1N1, also known as swine flu. SARS-CoV-2 is a virus that belongs to the coronavirus family. The coronavirus family gets its name for crown, corona, because it appears like a crown under an electron microscope. The word SARS is a shorthand for severe acute respiratory syndrome. SARS-CoV-2 is the virus that can cause the disease that is COVID-19, the severe acute respiratory syndrome that has shut down the world. Like influenza, SARS-CoV-2 inner cells contain its genetic code or messenger RNA. Also, like influenza, its outer shell is covered in spikes. The large spikes also act as keys to gain access to human cells. After gaining access to the cell, the virus dissolves its outer shell and injects into the human cell to multiply. The most severe symptoms of COVID-19 include deadly pneumonia, permanent neurological and systematic organ failure, and a bizarre, undiagnosable condition called long COVID, a malaise, fatigue, brain fog, and general reduction in any meaningful quality of life. The human story is a story of repetition. Past is present. The present is in the past. Let us at last take a look at some of our victories. The economic nosedive that occurred after the Spanish flu shuttered many businesses worldwide, but a huge rebound occurred as the pandemic receded. This trend is consistent throughout every pandemic ever recorded. As people stop engaging in face-to-face transactions and restricting their spending, a tremendous reduction of economic activity ensues, costing some much more than others. However, on a larger macro level, all of us become more wealthy after the end of the abnormality to our precious economy. Beyond economic activities, the mass die-offs of weak and compromised human beings due to pandemic leave behind a robust genetic population with improved immunity more able to withstand the next inevitable round of disease. This macabre calculation is one we reluctantly don't want to acknowledge, for our moral moors value all human life, and none are considered weak. Nonetheless, there is merit to this positive benefit, the understanding of which I will leave for you to explore yourselves. Smallpox killed at least 1 billion people. Hundreds of millions died from plague, and tens of millions died of influenza, SARS, and AIDS viruses. Yet AIDS has been made bearable through antiviral cocktails. The flu and smallpox vaccines has rendered smallpox eradicated and turned influenza into a cub where once stood a roaring lion. How was this done? Well, we simply use our own immune system to fight the fight, not by improving it in any way, but by giving it advance warning of danger. Vaccines don't cure anything. They simply wake up an already enormous arsenal of immune white T cells from their slumber deep in our bone marrow. The human story is a story of repetition. Past is present. The present is in the past. But we are not in that dark cave anymore. Now we have plutonium-derived steam-powered transformers generating megawatts of electricity to power halogen light bulbs. Human beings are more populous than ever. We are more wealthy than ever. We are more free than ever. We have no reason to fear anymore. We haven't lost yet.